Hello everyone, I welcome you all in Bright Cubes. Hope you all are safe and doing wonderful. I am back with fourth part of chapter 1 Business Studies class 11. If you have not watched previous part of this video, kindly go through the link given below in the description box. So now let's get started with the video. In this module, I'm going to talk about business risk, nature of business risk and their causes, basic factors to be considered while starting a business. Now, what is business risk? As we know that risk is the major element of business, we can't even think of starting a business without risk. So risk and business are associated. Though we start our business with an ultimate objective of earning profit, there are uncertain situations, there are unexpected situations which will affect our business and which will lead to inadequate profits or losses. So those situations will put the business at risk. In simpler terms, we can tell risk is the possibility of loss. It can be defined as possibility of inadequate profit or even losses due to uncertainties or unexpected events. In simpler terms or in simple example, I can explain that suppose if a business is importing something from outside to sell in a domestic market, and suddenly, that is unexpected, the exchange rate or import duty will increase, then what will happen? If the charges of a trade or a import will increase, ultimately it will lead to the increase in the price of the product, isn't it? If the business will try to increase the price, which they will charge to customers, they may lose customers. If they will not increase the price of that particular product, what will happen? The business will not be able to cover all the cost incurred in doing the business, isn't it? So in both the situation, business will be at no profit situation and it will be at risk. Now we will talk about types of risk. First one, speculative risk. Speculative risk involves both the possibility of gain as well as loss. It may arise due to change in demand, change in the price of raw material. It may increase or decrease. So this risk will affect the business in both the ways, positive also or negative also. Favorable market conditions are likely to result in gains whereas unfavorable ones may result in losses. For example, change in the price of some raw material. Let's take the example like if the price of the raw material will go down, will be reduced, then what will happen? The cost of production will be less, and when the cost of production will be less, we can generate more profit, isn't it? Now take another example. Suppose any change in demand. Suppose people will start preferring more of some product, like they will demand more, or the quantity of sales will go high. Then what will happen? Sales will increase and ultimately the revenue will generate. So what I'm trying to tell, due to any factor which can come under risk, if they are going to, those factors will affect in a positive as well as negative way. So if that factor is affecting my business in a positive way, it is going to have a win situation, like gain. If it is going to affect in a negative manner, then it will have in a loss. So what I'm trying to tell over here is, like suppose change in demand, I gave you one example that will affect in a favorable way. Let's give you another example, that suppose the demand will go down, the reduction in demand. If the demand of certain product will go down, then what will happen? Sales will go down. When sales will go down, the revenue generation will go down. So change in demand is one factor. If it is increasing, it is good for business. If it is decreasing, it is bad for business. It means that is unprofitable for business. So speculative risk consists of all those factors which can affect the business in both the ways. It can affect the business in a positive or in a negative manner. Second one is pure risk. Pure risk is a different kind of risk wherein involves only the possibility of loss or no loss. In speculative, there was a situation wherein a possibility of loss or gain was there. Herein, only loss, possibility of loss or no loss. So the chance of fire, if there is no fire, then no loss. If there is fire, then there is a loss. Chance of theft or strikes, etc. are examples of pure risk. Now, nature of business risk or characteristics of business risk. Business risk arises due to uncertainties. It is an essential part of every business. Profit is the reward for risk taking. Risk depends mainly upon the nature and size of business. So we will discuss each and every point in detail. Business risk arises due to uncertainty. What is uncertainty? Uncertainty means about which we don't have any idea, we are not aware of. Lack of knowledge about what is going to happen, that is uncertainty. So in business, there are so many situations like natural calamities, change in demand and prices, change in technologies, government decisions. These factors will put business at risk as the outcome of all these situations are not known to business in advance. So business risk arises due to uncertainty, uncertain situations. Like for example, if the government will ban the use of plastic, then what will happen to the company which are manufacturing plastic or plastic bags? Those companies will be affected badly, isn't it? So that will give to the opportunity of making paper bags, but the companies which have already produced, they have stocks and they were the suppliers to big corporates or companies wherein the plastic was in demand. So what will happen? So what I'm trying to tell over here is there are situations which will affect the business in a different manner. Risk is an essential part of every business. Every business, whether it is small or big, whether it is a manufacturing business or it is a service industry, every business will involve some degree of risk. It depends upon the type of business. It varies from business to business. And we cannot avoid risk. We cannot ignore risk. Only business can do what? They can minimize it with the help of insurance or with the help of all those precautionary measures so that we can prepare ourselves for coming future risk, but cannot be eliminated. Next one, profit is the reward for risk taking. Like how much of a risk are you willing to take? If you can see from the picture, higher the risk, higher the gain. And if you are not able to take higher risk, the gain will be less. Greater the risk, more is the reward. No risk, no gain. An entrepreneur assumes risk under the expectation of higher profit. It means what? A business person or an entrepreneur, they know that risks are associated with my business. So for what reason they are going to take risk? They are taking, or they are assuming, or they're preparing themselves for all those upcoming risks for under the expectation of higher profit. So profit is the reward for risk taking. So they are ready to take all the risk in order to earn higher profit. Risk depends mainly upon the nature and size of business. We know that, as I said, every business, whether it is small or big, whether it is manufacturing or service, whether it is like a physical or tangible product, whatever it is, they will involve some degree of risk. A large scale business will involve more risk than small scale unit because they will involve a huge capital, they will have a huge manufacturing unit, they will have more human resources, they will have to bear all those expenses. But in small scale unit, it will be comparatively less. So the degree of risk will also be low. A firm dealing in fashionable items does have high degree of risk than a firm dealing in essential commodities. Whatever, if the price will go high of fashion items, people will stop preferring that thing, isn't it? Because that is not the essential good, because of that good they can't exist. But if like the degree of the price of the essential commodities will increase or decrease, it is going to affect the business. So what I'm trying to tell, like, it depends upon the items which we are dealing into. It depends upon the nature of business what we are doing. Natural causes. Now we will talk about causes of risk. First one is natural cause, that is linked with, or that is associated with nature or environment. Like, natural calamities are unpredictable and are beyond the control of a businessman. Nobody can predict that tomorrow flood will come or earthquake will come, and they can't predict it also. So flood, earthquake, heavy rain, etc. are the examples of natural risk. They result in heavy loss of life, property, and income in business. So as business people, what we have to do to minimize this kind of risk is we should always have backup of everything. We can prepare ourselves for restart the business, or we should have all those proper backup regarding funds or arrangement of funds. We should be in a position to arrange funds again and to restart our business. Economic causes are generally related with the changes in market conditions, like change in price, change in income, competition, or like change in the preferences and taste of consumers, or change in the price of the substitute goods. So all these factors comes under economic causes, and that is also going to affect our business like anything. So financial problems like rise in interest rate for borrowings, high tax rates, etc. also come under economic causes as the result in higher unexpected cost of operation of business. Then human causes. Human causes, by the name itself, you can relate with human. So the causes, the factors which are associated with human beings or human resources which will affect our business are termed as human causes. It may include dishonesty, carelessness, or negligence of employees, strikes, riots, stoppage of work due to power failure, or management inefficiency, or kind of like if some people will leak some information to its competitors, or if some people will indulge himself in all unethical behavior or unethical practices or unfair trade means, like they will break down the machines, or they will manipulate the figure or misappropriate the accounts and all. These are the causes of business risk, and it's related with human, like human causes of business risk. Other causes, they are unforeseen events like political disturbances, mechanical failures such as bursting of boiler, fluctuation in exchange rate, etc., which lead to possibility of business risk. And these are also beyond the control of business people. They cannot predict it, like when the government will change and what will be the decision of government regarding the environment or business environment. So we are not aware of like mechanical failure. We can only prepare ourselves to minimize all these risks, or how to overcome all these situations. Now we will talk about basic factors to be considered for starting a business. The first factor is selection of line of business. It is all about the nature or kind of business one wants to start. It depends mainly upon the entrepreneur or a business person, like which business he wants to start. It depends upon his interest. It depends upon his knowledge or his experience, what he wants to do. So the selection of line of business depends upon the interest of entrepreneur or a business person, or the customer requirements, the technical knowledge, what is in demand. So people should know about it before entering into any kind of business. Next one, size of the firm. After selecting the line of business, like I want to enter into manufacturing or service, or if manufacturing, I have selected which kind of product I want to, like cosmetic industry or textile industry, which industry I want to get into, what kind of information I have, what kind of knowledge I have, what kind of interest I have, that will decide the line of business. So after deciding or after selecting the line of business, the next factor is to decide about the scale of operation or size of the firm. My size of the firm will be large size or small size, large scale or small scale. So it will depend upon so many factors. If I can arrange like a huge amount of capital, or I can start production at a larger scale, so I can opt for large scale or large size firm. Or the risk or the market conditions are uncertain, I know that in advance, so I will start with small scale in business. After selecting the line of business and deciding the size of the firm, we have to decide about the form of ownership, whether the control, whether what kind of control, what kind of ownership I want in my business. It can be sole proprietorship, like one owner, it can be partnership, it can be a joint stock company, it can be cooperative society. So which kind of ownership I want to have in my business. After that, after deciding about the choice of ownership, the next factor is location of business enterprise. You know, location is like the prime factor of any business, because suppose you are very much in demand, but you are unreachable. That if I want to enter into your showroom or outlet, that is inconvenient for me, that I have to spend so much of time, it is too far from my place, and transportation and all is not there. As customers, suppose suppliers, distributors, transporters, or power supply, water supply, so many things are associated with business. So we have to see the location should be convenient for everyone who will be associated with my business. It means what? My business should have proximity to the market, easily or convenient reach of the people. They should reach me conveniently or easily, isn't it? So location of business will affect the productivity and the profitability of the business. If you have chosen wrong location, you have to bear a huge loss, and if your location is perfect, you're going to make a high profit because of the easy availability or easy promotion, or like a prime location wherein you can have a huge traffic, where can people can go every now and then. So it depends upon the kind of business and the location. But what I wanted to tell is location is very important for starting any kind of business. For example, you want to open a stationery shop. You cannot open a stationery shop near to hospital. If you are opening, it's like depends upon what kind of area it is. But if you will open a stationery shop near to school or college, or in residential area, you will have like higher demand, or people can easily prefer to go and buy something. But if suppose you are in near to hospital, chemist, the option to open a chemist shop can be a better option. Next one, financing the proposition. After deciding about which kind of business I'm going to start, what size of business I'm going to have, which form of ownership I will choose, or the location of business, after that we have to do the financing the proposition. What does it mean? We have to identify how much funds are required. So we have to do what? We have to estimate the expenses. We have to note down all the things which are required to start the business and to run the business. So after that, what we will do, after estimation or after identifying the funds requirement, we will try to get it from different sources, isn't it? So after that, we will search for options from where we can get money. After that, after getting the money also, we need to find out, like we have to make a plan about how to buy assets, how much to spend on fixed asset, how much to keep in bank, how much to keep for future. So all these things we have to decide in selecting financing the proposition. Then physical facilities. Physical facilities includes all those physical resources like plant, machinery, furnitures, fixtures. So what all we require in our business. After that, plant layout. After identifying all the factors like which line of business, size of firm, choice of ownership, or funds are also acquired, and we have bought all those machinery or technology or production unit, everything is done. We have to do the physical arrangement, or we have to do the layout of all the resources which we have acquired, how the office or how the production unit or manufacturing unit will be like physically. So we have to draw a layout, we have to plan about a layout, physical arrangement of all those resources. Then we have competent and committed workforce. You know that if you want to start business all alone, you cannot work in an isolation way. You cannot do everything on your own. You will require managers, you will require supervisors, you will require laborer, you will require housekeeping, you will require all those packagers and packers, and all those transporters and distributors. So what I'm trying to tell, as an individual who is going to start business, he has to find out the, like, he has to plan about the manpower, like what all workforce will constitute what kind of individual or human resource. You will require manager kind of people, you will require supervisor kind of people. So you have to decide right people for the right job. Okay, so competent and committed. The workforce should be competent according to the work. They should be competent enough in terms of knowledge, skills, experience, technical know-how and all. And committed means they should be dedicated, they should be self-disciplined, they should be motivated, because workforce will put our plan into action. If we have competent and committed workforce, we can achieve our organizational goal easily. Next one, tax planning. Before starting any kind of business, we should be aware about all those tax laws, provisions of related to that particular business by government. Like suppose I want to start a chemist shop, so the formalities and the tax laws will be different. If I want to open a stationery shop, the laws will be different. So what I'm trying to tell, before starting any business, the idea, the information, the knowledge about tax is also very much important, and we have to find out like what kind of tax laws are applicable to my business. After deciding about the line of business, size of the firm, which kind of ownership we want to have in our business, location of our operation, or financing the proposition, all those financial and physical resources, mobilization and physical arrangement of all those resources acquired, how we are going to design our office, what will be the layout of our business, and then after acquiring all those workforce team and equipping ourselves with all those tax laws which are going to affect our business, the final step is to launch the enterprise. What does it mean? To start with that production process. We are ready to initiate our production process, and we are ready to do the sales promotion campaign. It means what? We are ready to offer what we have produced. So we will announce that if to the general public that this business is going to cater the needs of people by providing which kind of or what kind of product or service. That is the final stage. We are going to do the campaigning work, like so and so limited is into the business of what, and they will be catering to the people in what ways they are going to solve the problems, or what facilities they are going to provide, or how the product is better than others. So through launching the enterprise, after production, in campaigning process, we will do the promotion. That is the final stage. Well, that's all for today. We'll connect you soon with next part of this chapter. If you have any doubt related to today's session, you can always comment in the comment box. And if you like my video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get regular updates from us. Stay tuned with us for more educational videos. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, and continue learning.